Gene Deal just dropped a bombshell that could shake hip hop to its core. The former bodyguard says he has a list, not just of rappers, but of stars, women, and insiders who allegedly left Diddy's infamous parties with something far worse than a hangover. We're talking about infections, cover ups, and names that fans never expected to hear. And here's where it gets even more serious. This isn't just old gossip. Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, filed November 16th, 2023, in Manhattan, New York, dragged these dark rumors into the courtroom. Then in May 2025, during Diddy's criminal trial in Lower Manhattan, whispers about Deal's testimony turned into headlines. Suddenly, the freak-offs that everyone once joked about became evidence. And the list Gene says he carries, it could ruin reputations forever. But that's just the beginning, because if the rumors about hidden tapes and surveillance are true, the story of who got infected and how might only scratch the surface of what really went down behind those doors. For years, Gene Deal kept quiet. He was more than just a bodyguard. He was in the room when Sean Diddy Combs built his empire. He traveled with him, and he saw the highs and the darkest lows. But in recent interviews, Deal finally broke his silence, and what he revealed shocked even longtime hip-hop fans. He claimed that Diddy's parties weren't just wild celebrations. They were orchestrated, carefully designed, and often left people walking away with scars, both emotional and physical. According to Deal, the truth was so ugly that he carried guilt for not speaking sooner. And when asked directly about the so-called freak-offs, Deal didn't hold back. He hinted that infections spread through these nights of excess, with rappers, models, and industry insiders all at risk. He even suggested that he knew exactly who was affected, describing it as a final list that, if ever revealed, would ruin lives and shake the culture forever. This wasn't just a random rumor. The timing was critical. Gene's statement started surfacing around May 2025 in New York City, right in the middle of Diddy's criminal trial. That gave his words more weight than ever before. Suddenly, his confessions weren't just personal regrets. They sounded like testimony. But what exactly were these freak-off parties he described? And why did he say infections were only part of the nightmare? Behind the polished image of record deals and chart-topping hits, there was another world. One Gene Deal says most fans were never meant to see. These weren't just casual industry gatherings. They were secret, late-night freak-offs, where the rules disappeared the moment the doors shut. Deal described rooms filled with celebrities, models, and strangers who were all pushed into situations they couldn't walk away from. According to him, there were drugs everywhere, cameras allegedly hidden in corners, and an unspoken understanding. Whatever happened inside never left those walls. It wasn't just about pleasure, it was about power. Gene hinted that these parties were staged to control people, to compromise them, and to make sure nobody could challenge Diddy's empire. And while the headlines talk about lawsuits and criminal charges, Deal's story adds another disturbing detail. People didn't just walk away ashamed, some walked away infected. That's why his claim about having a final list is so explosive. Because if the infections he described are real, it means names we all know could be carrying a secret they've kept hidden for years. But Gene didn't stop at vague descriptions. He started dropping hints about who was really involved, and that's when fans realized this story was bigger than anyone imagined. Then came the part everyone had been waiting for, the names. Gene Deal claims he knows exactly who was affected at these parties. High-profile rappers, actors, and insiders who built their brands on untouchable status. According to Deal, some of these stars left Diddy's homes not just with memories, but with infections that they couldn't talk about, couldn't treat publicly, and certainly couldn't deny. He didn't reveal every single name, but the whispers alone were enough to send shockwaves through the industry. These were figures who seemed invincible, untouchable, the ones whose influence shaped careers and culture. Yet behind closed doors, they were part of a world that preyed on secrecy and silence. The timing of this revelation made it even more potent. Deal's statements started gaining attention during May 2025 in Manhattan in the middle of Diddy's federal criminal trial. And when combined with Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, filed November 16, 2023, in Manhattan, New York, a pattern began to emerge. The freak-offs weren't isolated incidents, they were systematic, orchestrated, and in Deal's words, physically and emotionally damaging. And there was more. Deal hinted that tapes might exist, hundreds of hidden recorders inside Diddy's properties capturing these events. If true, any of those names could suddenly be tied to proof, making the fallout even more devastating. So the question isn't just who was on the list, it's what will happen if that list ever becomes public and how deep the consequences will run through hip hop culture. The story takes a legal turn with Cassie Ventura. On November 16, 2023, in Manhattan, New York, she filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy, accusing him of sexual abuse, coercion, and manipulation. Her complaint didn't just reopen old rumors, it gave them weight in a courtroom. Ventura's testimony painted a chilling picture. Freak-off parties weren't occasional wild nights. They were systematic, meticulously organized events. She described being forced into encounters with others while being filmed, and revealed how every boundary between her personal and professional life blurred under Diddy's control. Her bravery marked a turning point. Once her lawsuit became public, others began stepping forward. Gene Deal's accounts now had context. His claims about infections and the final list weren't isolated whispers. They fit into a broader pattern of exploitation. The timeline adds even more weight. A key piece of evidence comes from a March 5, 2016, incident at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles, where security footage allegedly captured disturbing encounters during one of these parties. While these videos remain largely private, their existence supports the idea that Diddy's parties weren't just wild stories, they were documented, secretive, and potentially incriminating. The combination of Ventura's lawsuit and Deal's revelations forms a roadmap of abuse and secrecy, showing how far the culture of silence stretched, from Manhattan to Los Angeles, and even within Diddy's own circle. Gene Deal didn't just stop at naming names, he hinted at the proof that could back up his claims. According to him, Diddy's properties were rigged with surveillance, hundreds of hidden recorders capturing every move, every interaction, every compromise. Deal says there were at least 250 tape recorders installed, and when federal authorities raided these homes, they reportedly found mountains of footage. If even a fraction of this material is authentic, it could confirm the infections, the manipulation, and the freak-offs themselves. Celebrities who once seemed untouchable may suddenly be exposed, not just to scandal, but to undeniable evidence. The stakes are high, and the timing couldn't be worse for the industry. By May 2025 in New York City, as the trial continued, insiders began speaking out. Lawyers scrambled to protect clients, and the media exploded with speculation. Every revelation added pressure, forcing former associates, friends, and family members into a position where silence was no longer an option. Deal also claimed that those who attended these parties knew the risks, but fear and loyalty kept them quiet. The potential fallout isn't just about embarrassment, it's about careers, reputations, and the future of hip-hop culture itself. With all this evidence reportedly in federal hands, the question now isn't just what happened, but how much will the public ever see? The revelations from Gene Deal and Cassie Ventura are more than just scandalous gossip. They threaten to reshape the very foundation of hip hop culture. For decades, the industry has celebrated power, influence, and untouchable status. But now, fans and insiders are forced to confront a darker reality. Some of the biggest names in the genre may have been compromised, manipulated, or silently complicit. Deal's allegations suggest that infections weren't just an unfortunate byproduct, they were a symptom of a controlled, secretive environment where fear and loyalty trumped morality. The idea that hidden cameras may have captured illegal or unethical behavior adds a layer of accountability that the industry has long avoided. This isn't simply about one man's misconduct. It's about a culture of silence that allowed it to thrive. The timing of these revelations also matters. From November 16th, 2023, in Manhattan, New York, when Ventura filed her civil suit, to March 5th, 2016, at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles, and May 2025, during Diddy's criminal trial in Lower Manhattan, each event creates a chain of evidence and testimony that amplifies the impact. The combination of lawsuits, federal investigations, and insider testimony now forces the industry to confront uncomfortable truths. Hip hop thrives on authenticity and resilience, but what happens when those ideals are exposed as compromised? Fans are already debating whether the music itself can retain the same cultural weight when its creators are revealed to have participated in or been affected by these secretive, potentially damaging gatherings. For younger generations, this could be a moment of reckoning, a chance to question the structures, loyalties, and moral compromises that shape the music they love. Moreover, the fallout isn't limited to reputations. Record labels, managers, and collaborators who once ignored warning signs now face scrutiny. Diddy's former associates, including family members like Janice Combs, are being questioned about how much they knew and why they remained silent. Deal's claim that even family loyalty may have enabled this lifestyle paints a chilling picture of complicity that stretches beyond the music business and into personal relationships. This cultural reckoning could redefine what accountability looks like in hip hop. If Deal's list of those infected and exposed ever comes to light, it will force artists, executives, and fans alike to reconsider the boundaries between fame, influence, and moral responsibility. The question now is whether the industry can survive this kind of exposure or whether the legacy of some of its biggest icons will be permanently tarnished. The ripple effects are already visible. Fans are discussing the ethics of participation, the responsibility of silence, and the dangers of unchecked power. Insiders are reconsidering past decisions, and the media is re-examining decades of cover-ups. Hip-hop may never look the same, and as the walls of secrecy continue to crumble, one thing is clear. The fallout from Diddy's parties and the names on Gene Deal's list could be the most significant cultural reckoning the genre has ever faced. The story isn't over, not by a long shot. With Gene Deal's revelations and Cassie Ventura's testimony, the pressure on Diddy, his associates, and the industry as a whole is only growing. Federal prosecutors continue their case, civil lawsuits are still unfolding, and insiders are weighing their next moves. Every day, the potential for new evidence or testimony could turn whispers into undeniable proof. Fans are left asking themselves difficult questions. How much did these artists know? Were they coerced, complicit, or simply blinded by fame and fortune? And more importantly, How will hip hop reconcile with a history that now appears to include manipulation, secrecy, and hidden harm? The implications go far beyond headlines. This could be a generational shift in how the culture views accountability, loyalty, and celebrity power. The timeline also points to potential future developments. By June 2025 in Los Angeles, sources suggest that federal investigators could be reviewing additional properties linked to Diddy, possibly uncovering even more recordings, documents, or witnesses. Combined with past evidence from March 5th, 2016, at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles, and court filings from November 16th, 2023, in Manhattan, New York, this could create an unprecedented wave of legal and public scrutiny. Gene Deal's courage to speak out despite personal risk is a reminder that exposing corruption often comes at a cost. He has repeatedly said that silence only protects the powerful, and now his warnings are forcing the industry to confront uncomfortable truths. Whether fans, insiders, or future artists, no one can ignore the fallout. The coming months could reshape careers, reputations, and even the legacy of hip hop itself. As each piece of evidence, testimony, or leaked information surfaces, it adds weight to the claims and could finally answer the questions everyone has been afraid to ask. Will those on Gene Deal's list face consequences? Will Diddy's empire survive this storm? Or will hip hop be forced into a cultural reckoning the likes of which it has never seen? The only certainty is that the silence is over and the truth is being forced into the light. Fans are watching, insiders are calculating, and history is unfolding before our eyes. Let us know in the comments below what you think about Gene Deal's claims. Do you believe the industry will survive the fallout, or is this the start of a cultural reset? And if you want to stay updated on every shocking development, hit that subscribe button because the story is far from finished and the truth will continue to shock.